Hello everybody and welcome to another Golden Age Stories stream. Today we'll be playing Mage the Ascension Technogate 1999. Set in the year 1999, our game is focused on the technocracy construct in Madison, Wisconsin called the Technogate. That has an encapsulated black hole that allows them to travel through space. Our heroes are Technogate Team 42, a newer team that is comprised of Phaedra, Tycho, Robert, and Malachi. I'm your storyteller, Frozen Fallout, and let's get started with a round of introductions here. Phaedra, go ahead and tell us a little bit about your character and what she looks like.
Phaedra is a 27-year-old black female. She's originally from Vegas. She came up here to Wisconsin following her mother's murderer, Muddin. Through hunting him down, she got into occult and science and was eventually able to take him down with her group. And that's how she got into the technocracy. She wears white slacks, or black slacks and white blouse, lab coat, very disheveled. That's her.
Awesome, thanks a lot, Phaedra. All right, Tycho, tell us a little bit about your character and what he looks like.
Tycho is a 24-year-old white man, just above 6 feet. He grew up in the construct here in Madison. His mother was and continues to be R&D division, where she's in charge of building technocratic gadgets and such. His father disappeared in 19. He was legendary adventurer Buck Samsonite. Tycho generally wears metallics, kind of like retro sci-fi, like 50s sci-fi movie kind of stuff. Yeah, that's it.
Awesome, thanks a lot, Tycho. All right, Robert, tell us a little bit about your character and what he looks like.
Robert is a mild-mannered psychiatrist. Pretty average-looking guy. Brown hair, always wearing a suit, wears glasses, always has a briefcase with him. Suit and tie kind of guy. He was kind of existing on the periphery of the technocracy and then got brought in with the Technogate team and has been learning a lot way, you could say. But yeah, otherwise not a whole lot about him that would really stand out.
Awesome, thanks a lot, Robert. All right, and Malachi, tell us a little bit about your character and what he looks like.
Yeah, Malachi was born to a military family where he was on the straight and narrow, making progress through the ranks. He got noticed by the technocracy, kind of did a step sideways and started working with the technocracy. Made some friends with reality deviants, mages, which got him into a bit of hot water. Ended up getting side promoted into a civilian defense protection detail onto the team. He is probably the oldest member of the group, around 29, and 6 foot tall. And after he got his little reprimand, he went disheveled and stopped doing the buzz cut. Now it's all shaggy, and he's taking things a little bit differently than he did when he was younger.
Awesome, thanks a lot. So our heroes have been investigating a world located in deep space called Altered Earth. This is a replica of Earth that was created after the bombs were dropped on August 6, 1945. It is at first the realm. The realm at first was doomed to play out an Armageddon scenario, but however was saved by a person named Adam Levin, a virtual adept who had become the ruler of the realm after saving it. Technogate Team 42 learned of this realm after having received a distress call from Buck Samsonite, father of Tycho, and one of the original members of the first Technogate team. They arrived at the realm using one of the newest starships Technogate had at their disposal, and arrived at the realm only to find that it had been encased in a force field that none could enter or exit. This force field was powered by 6 powerful nodes that were located in the on Earth, in near space, the Tempest, mid space, possibly what we're going to find out now is the Dreaming, and then deep space as well. All 6 of these nodes must be destroyed in order to bring down the barrier that shields altered Earth and save Buck Samsonite, who has been missing in action since he left on a top secret mission that only Control, the ruling entity of the technocracy, knows the details of. We find our heroes being briefed on their next mission by General Bridges. So General Bridges kind of gets you all into the meeting room. They've got like the big screen and the meeting table for everybody to sit down at. So he takes his seat, and up on the screen, what you can see is what looks to be a distorted version of reality. You can see like the buildings are just kind of they're kind of like warped. Everything kind of has this kind of warped shape to it, and it's one of those like everything is kind of moving. It's almost like you're hallucinating or almost like a dream state that you're kind of seeing into. General Bridges has you all sit down and says, "Thank you all for coming today. We have discovered another one of the nodes that is protecting or powering the shield that is surrounding Altered Earth. The only information that we were able to retrieve through the connection that Altered Earth has is that there is a node that is located somewhere within the Dreaming. So we're going to be sending your team today into the Dreaming to try and locate this node. We're hoping that some of the techniques that Tycho had learned from the encounter that he had with one of the cubes inside of the planet of flesh and bone will allow him to have the ability to try and track down this node inside of the Dreaming. We do know that there are 3 different aspects of the Dreaming: the near Dreaming, the far Dreaming, and the deep Dreaming. We do not know where it is located or which one of these aspects of the Dreaming that the node would be located in. So the plan will be to use the Technogate in order to breach the Dreaming, and we will have you start with the near Dreaming and start your investigation into trying to find where this node would be located. Any questions?
Yeah, what's the Dreaming?
Yeah. Yep.
So the Dreaming is, as far as we can tell, is the realm or place that is created during or that people really go when they are dreaming. It is a realm that is controlled, as far as we understand, mainly by the creatures called the Fae. You may have heard about them through the Grimm Tales, or the Grimm Brother Tales. Kind of tells you a little bit about what some aspects of what the Fae kind of are. Of course, these are all fictional readings to a certain degree, but they hold slivers of truth
So
So
we're gonna.
so it's not like a planet or anything. It's like
go,
is it like the near Umbra?
It's very similar to the near Umbra, or near space. It is a reflection. The near dreaming is a distorted reflection, and he kind of points to the monitor. This is one of our recordings that we have of the dreaming around Madison. Um, as you can see, it is a distortion of what is our reality. Um, and as far as we understand, there are different alcoves of um, changelings that live, or fairies that live in this world, and are connected to the mortal world in ways that we don't quite understand. To be honest, we don't have a lot of information regarding the changelings or the dreaming, as it is something that we have. For the most part, we thought that, we've eradicated most of the influence of these fairies from Earth and have turned them into more mythological creatures. And the dreaming has always been something that we have been interested in, but have found it hard for our scientists, as you are having a hard time wrapping your mind around it. It seems to drive many of our scientists who study it insane.
Well, that's good to know.
That's comforting. So is this some kind of like astral plane?
That would be a good way of explaining it.
I mean, I've heard about this type of stuff in my meditative studies and stuff, but I always kind of thought it was just people experiencing some type of euphoria or something. You're telling me this is an actual place we can go?
From our understanding, it's a place that you go to every night when you sleep.
Huh.
Well, not
not your
our physical bodies, though.
correct, not your physical bodies. And your interaction usually inside of a dream with the dreaming would be extremely limited. And for the most part, most people can't die while they're inside of a dream state inside of the dreaming. And they're usually cornered off in their own section of the dreaming.
Sounds like, though, kind of like the digital web, how you can go there physically or just kind of be there. Is this something similar that we're going to be there physically? Therefore, we could die?
Yes. To go there in a dream state, it is something that maybe you can experiment with. However, the only way that we have found the best way that we have found to interact with this realm, and we think that the best way moving forward would be for you to use the Technogate. However, feel free to, there is no time limit on this. We just need that cube to be shut down. So whatever methods that you guys can come up with, feel free to experiment if you wish.
Does the technocracy have like any dossiers on the types of we would encounter there?
We have a small dossier of information that you can kind of go over, and he kind of hands you a file. And out of game, that's basically what you'll get with the link that I gave you. None of the links work besides the link that I gave you, so you can't go deeper into this, but it kind of will give you the base overview of what the dreaming is, and some of the basics of what you might encounter there. Yeah, for ease, I'll say that this is the file that they have on the dreaming. And for those watching at home, it is on the whitewolf.fandom.com/wiki/dreaming, and I've posted that also. You'll see that on the screen there, and I'll put a link to it inside of the podcast when we put that up. Just to give somewhat of a little bit of an overview breakdown of what the information kind of gives you. So the kind of article kind of starts off by saying that the dreaming is a universe unto its own. It is said that any and all things may be found there, if one knows how to look. Given the infinite tableau of many of the common kith fear to return to this place that was once most natural to them. Others, however, are now rediscovering their lost legacy. Most of the Fae do not travel beyond the near dreaming. The only way for a changeling to enter the dreaming is by entering a trod, which is kind of what you guys are doing through the Technogate, basically. Although the dreaming is a place of infinite expanse and diversity, it is generally agreed that it can be divided into 3 major realms, and then it kind of goes into that.
Okay, so we've kind of done this before. There's the near umbra, which is kind of like the spiritual reflection of the Earth's surface. There seems to be one for the dreaming as well.
Yep, that is correct. It is one of the 3 aspects of the penumbra. Some would argue that that the dreaming and the penumbra are very similar places, and are possibly the same place. So it'd be the dreaming, or the near dreaming, the near umbra, and the dark umbra, or the Shadowlands. All of them technically could be seen as being the same exact place. Supposedly, if you meet up with each other, at a location, and all of you are in all 3 of these different realms, you'd still be able to interact with each other.
So we must be using some sort of resonance filter on the Technogate, or shunted into the realm, so that we're seeing aspect.
Yeah, things get kind of foggy into a certain degree, but yeah, basically you guys are going to, the only aspect that you guys will be seeing is the dreaming aspect. But that's a good way of explaining why.
All right, and we have no indication of where in the signal is coming from?
Nope, not at this time. Basically, General Bridges is hoping that, based upon the techniques that you had to scan the planet, that you might be of the bone and flesh, in order to find the cube there, that if you did the same kind of scan, that you might be able to, find it inside of that realm, or inside of the dreaming.
And what's the plan for getting us back?
Plan for getting you back is either A, you can try and find one of these trods that are out there, in order to get back. That those can be used. I believe that you are at the level where you can start opening gateways now, are you at 3 in spirit or dimensional science?
Yeah. So I should be able to.
So they have a device that'll
procedure for that.
Enhance your ability to, basically, you can just press a button and you can open up a portal between near, or the near dreaming and Earth. It's more dangerous doing that. You guys will be coming out on at a specific point that's basically here in Technogate, like just above, and there's like a special spot that's kind of been built in the dreaming that they've used for research to a certain degree. So you can always head back to that spot as well. And there is a base there and stuff like that for you to interact with in the dreaming.
Could we theoretically use the dreaming for storage?
For storage? I'm not
Yeah,
quite...
like just take stuff there and leave it. Go get it later.
I mean, yeah, as long as something in the dreaming doesn't come and pick it up.
Never mind. Silly idea.
I mean, if you're talking about like extra dimensional space that you'd be like a bag of holding, that's where a bag of holding would go. I mean, you could do that, I guess. There's ways. I could think of a million different ways of doing that, but yeah, it's not something I ever thought of doing. Interesting. All right, so any further questions for General Bridges? All right, you guys are dismissed then.
All right, what do you guys think?
I think this sounds dangerous, but what's new?
Yes.
Well, it's a good thing you got that new sword. Know how to use your sword?
Yeah, you swing it or you stick it, right? It's like a baseball bat, but sharp.
Yeah, I mean, that's as much as I know about it.
All right, cool.
That doesn't sound right, but I don't know enough to tell you that you're wrong. Not sure if baseball bat is the correct motion for sword work, but yeah, it's going to be a challenge having. It sounds like anything could be there, based on the way that he's described it, and my own dreams. They get weird sometimes.
Oh man, are we gonna like have the option, like the possibility of seeing or ending up in like our dreams, or is this just a dream version of our reality? My curiosity
Well,
is
the
piqued. I'll
place,
tell you that much.
the place that we're going is kind of like where we went before, where it's just kind of like a mirror of the surface of the earth. It's just kind of whimsical, which actually scares the shit out of me. But yeah, like it looks like based on the dossier, like the actual place where people go in their is like further out, more like it's a realm of concepts and ideas rather than else.
Well, I mean, we're not even sure where we're going for this cube, so we might end up out there. But
Well,
do you have that tester that you used on the Flash planet?
the thing that I used to find the cubes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've got that. I'll have to probably got it to get it calibrated for the dreaming.
That'd be easier to do here or there.
Yeah, here and then maybe set some sort of procedure to do there. We're probably going to want umbral shields that make us look like we belong. So if somebody wants to help me,
Yeah, I might be able to help out a little. I've done some reading on the astral planes. Make us maybe blend in a little from what I think I might know.
So
Probably something
you do have the ability to, there is one type of Fae that they have information regarding. Let me just find it here real quick.
She.
Yeah, why can't I find them here? It's oh. Uh,
the knockers, the sea, the boggins. Oh shit, there's trolls there?
There's animate chimera of all kinds. From what I'm seeing.
Yeah, that's a good one. So yeah, you could do Chimera, or you could try and do one of the kiths. I'm gonna say it has like the base concept of the kiths as well.
I think trying to pass as a she would probably be the easiest, but we don't probably know that much about them to know that.
Well, let's have you make a roll for it. Give me an occult plus intelligence roll, Robert.
Can I also do that roll?
Yep. Difficulty will be 8.
Oh, I know it.
Oh yeah. So you have studied the you can kind of have a base understanding of the Grimm brother tales and stuff like that, like just all of the, you know. So I'm gonna let you draw from as much information as really that you kind of probably have, unless you've done a shit ton of changeling study that I haven't known about.
No, it was just when I was briefly thinking about that idea 2 weeks ago.
Yep. So yeah, I'll let whatever research that you've done, you kind of have now at this point.
Okay. That's not a whole lot, but I do know that there's a lot of different types of Fae, and they kind of come in all shapes and sizes, just like people. But there's these ones called the She. They're kind of like the almost like you'd think of a high elf in classic mythology. They're just kind of the pretty normal, more probably past human. So we might be able to just alter a little bit about ourselves to maybe just look a little more like we're from that astral kind of dreaming realm of theirs, and try to pass as one of them.
Is there a cultural aspect of that we need to work about? Like, are people going to talk to us because we look like that, or is the idea they're not going to talk to us?
I believe that they're kind of the upper caste, so we might be able to get past quite a bit of people without many questions. But I don't know, the societal ramifications or workings. I just know that they're always kind of portrayed as the kind of upper caste of elves or fae. Sorry.
Well, how do you suggest we accomplish that effect?
Oh well.
Oh,
There's several ways we can go about it.
and Amber, you know all of the mortal stuff. You know about the Grimm tales and stuff like that personally, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you kind of, with your one success, I'll give you that. You know the stories of the Grimm brothers, and
Well, I do know that they're supposed to be just beautiful, beautiful people. So, I mean, some of us might have an easier time at that than others, but we'll definitely need to at least work on that part a little bit.
Okay, so do you want to trick their senses, or do you want me to make you actually look like one?
It's a good question.
If I had a specimen, I could just make us like a pheromone bomb that makes us look like it, but
Well, generally in these realms, things work is it's not necessarily your eyes seeing an object, it's your mind seeing it. So I think it would be mostly we would need some sort of field generator that would generate the idea of a sheet and like imbue us with that energy. So probably mind prime, possibly dimensional
Or
science.
maybe it's easier if we try to go. I don't know what the appearance is like so much, but the Boggins, we might be able to go a little undetected. They've always been kind of the total opposite side, where they're kind of the trusty helpers, and we wouldn't have to worry so much about maybe putting off that air of royalty.
Well, there's also the possibility that so it looks like there's these things called just miracle entities.
Oh,
Right? It's just an idea given ephemeral form. I'm sure from time to time an astronaut shows up somewhere in your dreaming. If we could just make it look like we're chimerical entities instead of being invaders, a bit of whimsy.
just go for
Apparently
it.
they like that.
I feel if we have the technology to make us look like one of them, why instead wouldn't we just make it where they don't recognize us as a thing there? Like a mental cloaking.
Well, how about we do? Let's work on the mental cloaking. So you're thinking just like visibility to
Yeah, like, or
that
just
sense?
forget that you saw us. Like you don't you can't cognitively be aware that someone's there.
We have a mind of 3 in Robert, right? Yeah, you would definitely be able to do obfuscate like powers, which is it wouldn't work very well with a camera or anything like that, but people just seeing you would be able to put you out of their mind. So, and the one thing is that if they were walking towards you, they would just instinctively go around you, but they wouldn't know why they went around you. I would basically base it off of the powers of obfuscate, and at level 5 of obfuscate you can do it to like multiple people, but I think it's level 2 and level 4 let you do some really awesome stuff, and I would say a mind of 3 is around a level 4 possibilities for that. So what I want you to do right now though is give me an idea of what are you doing in order to make it so that you guys are invisible to these I'm guessing it's all denizens of this realm, as well as, or pretty much anything with a mind would be affected by this. Um, but what's your physical, technological way that you're pulling this off?
Well,
You can also work with other people too. Anybody that has a mind of 1 can assist in this.
seems like they are very much based on perception and belief of things. That's kind of the basis of this, right? So I think it's gonna be along the lines of probably gonna need help from, well, do you think they have things like, would you be able to mimic some type of like chemicals to that they would respond to, or do you think this is gonna be purely from the persuasion?
I would say, yeah, I can make a pheromone based, I guess, like a scent that just makes them cognitively blank a thing out.
So also adding a little bit of a little bit of life magic into it as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
I
using
can,
a kind of radio wave, we could probably, especially once we get there, fine tune it maybe, to just kind of turn anything away from us, mix with the pheromone and maybe a little bit of kind of subconscious persuasion. We might be able to trick them into just kind of letting us walk past, especially if we try to use this idea of us being these kind of worker class boggin that just kind of go by unnoticed. Like, we could try to obfuscate behind the idea that if they do remember anything, it would just kind of be the idea of just some regular old boggin.
if you need prime for it, I can supply a battery for whatever aerosolizer you're using for the pheromones.
Okay, so you want to use like a mixture. So my pheromones, which I'm going to make you guys ingest that. So like it's just going to be like your sweat exudes the pheromones.
Perfect.
And then maybe, do you want like a belt, like each of us to have a belt that would make that noise or that pulse?
I'm thinking it could be more directed. What I'm thinking is we could set something up that we don't want to waste too much energy, and we don't want to be like drawing too much attention by blasting a bunch out there. We don't know how sensitive some of these are. So what if it was just tracking eye movement, and anyone that doesn't just kind of gloss over us, it targets at a little bit more specifically? We get the general pheromones from you of just kind of them avoiding us, and then I can set up kind of a second layer of anyone that tries to really focus on us and not just pass over us. We could kind of hammer at it a little bit more intensely.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying make it like a belt or a collar. It doesn't have to be a noise that we can hear.
Oh,
Like it could
exactly.
be a pulse sound that's just sending off a wave.
Yeah.
That
And what I'm thinking is if we're directing it specifically at, people that are actually paying the attention to us, it might be easier to basically get a quick on the fly scan of how they, I don't know, some brainwaves coming off from that kind of thing from the distance, and try to just kind of invert that pattern and just scramble the brain for long enough for us to just kind of pass, like they just kind of get confused for a second.
I can probably find you a multi-directional wave transceiver.
Perfect.
Awesome. So what I'm going to need from you guys is you can do technology plus for Phaedra you can do medicine plus intelligence. For Robert you can do technology plus intelligence for lowering the difficulty. Base difficulty, I'm going to say, is going to be 6. And it's Arate roll, difficulty of 6. I need 6 successes. And I'll allow you to build a device for everybody. Every success above the first on your ability rolls will lower the difficulty by 1 up to 3. So the lowest difficulty is 3. All right, so I see Robert will have a difficulty of 4. Phaedra, with succeeded, will be able to
Difficulty
continue.
of 3 or a difficulty of 4?
Difficulty, every success above the first, similar to damage.
Oh, okay. I
Yep.
gotcha.
So if you fail on the roll, you do have to try again at a higher difficulty.
Ah.
Oh no.
You said the base difficulty is
Not a botch.
5 for the Arate roll?
6. Base difficulty is 6 for the Arate roll. Ugh. Phaedra.
Can I spend a willpower?
You can spend a willpower in order to negate that botch. I hate that rule, but you can do it. You guys are at full willpower as well. You've had time to rest. But this is where the draining begins.
So if I failed on the Arate roll, I have to
The Arate
roll again with a...
Yep, difficulty goes up +1, and you have a you can do a skill check as well. You do not have to do a skill check though. If you do a skill check though, you do have to get at least 1 success in order to continue to the Arate roll.
But I can lower difficulty back down?
Yes, you can also continue to lower difficulty, but each time you roll only affects 1 Arate roll. Same with your quiescence. So if you spend quiescence to lower the difficulty, you can only spend that.
Well, there's...
per turn. Ooh.
So I've got, I lowered, well, I suppose it doesn't matter, but I spent a quintessence to lower it down to a 5. I'm just making the battery that's going to drive the batteries if we each have one. That's my contribution.
Perfect.
So for a total of 4 on that one,
Nice.
I think. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep.
Perfect. Yeah, so Malachi comes up, he's like, well, you guys are all just like kind of fiddling around with shit. Like, he just comes up, slams down the batteries, he's like, got it.
Well, at least we got that part done. Oh, God. I'm going to spend a willpower.
Oh, no, you
Wait, no, I have a success.
You have a success, so you didn't botch. But
I just can't get my part to work.
All right, Phaedra. Phaedra's got a good. She's got the science down, got the concepts down. Now, can she make it a reality? Does she have?
That makes it difficulty 3 now, right?
That would be difficulty of 3. Yes. It would be technically 7, or base is 6. It went up to 7, and then you lowered it 4. So you are good.
Hey, I got 2 successes so far.
All right, and that's 6. With Malachi. So Robert did help, but just
I feel wrong never getting a success on my part.
Oh, I thought your skill roll was your Arete roll, and I'm like, why are you even still rolling? That's 4 successes. But read them wrong.
Ready? I'm doing it even though I shouldn't. There we go. Now I feel good.
He's like, I made it a little bit better.
Needs a little scroll work on the side here.
You have correspondence, don't you?
I have 2.
If you have with correspondence, you also have made it so that if anybody's scrying on you, there's like a hollow image that is projected to them as well.
Sweet, I got correspondence 3.
Oh, nice. All right, so we did it. I made confuser collars for everybody.
Yes. Yep. You are all set
And Phaedra's got the pheromones.
Yep, she gives you guys a pill. So this will work for one day. You guys will have to, make more pills and kind of recalibrate the collars every day. But difficulty, or you only need 2 successes to do the recalibration, and together with the pills.
All right, so the next task, we got to make sure that Tycho's cube scanner is ready to go, at least as ready as we can make it here.
All right, Tycho.
Yeah. So, in my aesthetic, I want to build 2 devices that are basically the same thing. The first is kind of a collapsible tripod, and on top of it, there's going to be like one of those old-timey TV antennas, also collapsible, and it's going to spin around, and it's going to hook to my device. And so it's going to be like a directional like scanner, and then the device itself is going to be kind of the portable scanner, and it's going to have a little tiny satellite dish that's like pointed a little bit, like not straight up, like at a little angle, and that satellite dish is going to spin around, and it's going to make a little beeping noise.
Make sure you add a switch to turn that beeping off, just in case we need to use it quietly.
I like.
No, I have the flaw compulsion make it loud. So I am not going to do that.
It does.
It needs to be. It has to be.
That's part of what it works. If you take it out, it stops working. Believe me, I tried.
Yeah. Doesn't work. Anyway, so what rolls?
Give me a hypertech difficulty of 6, with intelligence, for the lowering of the roll, or arete difficulty of 5.
What spheres do you use to do this? I'm wondering if I can supply a battery for you as well.
It's gonna be dimensional science.
Nope.
I feel like I don't need correspondence because it's in an umbral realm.
Correspondence
But I
still
do
is a thing for umbral stuff. Like you can't just
Yeah.
Farsi with a umbral thing. So correspondence would be.
Well, I have correspondence. It's,
Is that correspondence 1?
should be. Yeah.
Yeah, your phone really didn't want to let us know what number you had. It kept cutting just the number off.
All right. Well, let me roll intelligence plus hypertech, and that's difficulty 6.
Yep. 1 success.
And the arete was what? 5.
Difficulty of 5. Yep. You technically should need a little bit more correspondence, but you have the manual and all the specs on the whole thing, and there's a weird connection that you have with it spiritually. So, yeah, you're able to definitely build that device without a problem. You think that it'll work. You'll have to test it out, of course, when you arrive, but
Yeah. I'll go to the team. Does one of you guys? I bring out the bigger, like part of it, not the small piece, but the bigger antenna one. And I'm like, hey, I'm having problems with this one part. Does anybody know how to read this? And I'm asking for help with higher level correspondence.
I look over at Phaedra to see if she's gonna help.
I could try.
they're just like,
Yeah,
what
so
the
I've got-
fuck is that?
So I've got the small unit, right? And it can scan in like the the relatively near area. And I've got this portable unit that, you have to set up that can scan further, but I'm just, like, I can't get this protocol down. You want to help me out with it?
What exactly do we need?
I need somebody with correspondence.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take a crack at it.
All right, technology plus intelligence, difficulty of 8. You do have to do this roll because you have to try and interpret and understand what.
Can I help her with a hypertech roll?
Yes, I will allow you to do an assist with this. She still needs to get a success, but if you add on more successes, you can add on to lowering the difficulty for her.
All right,
Difficulty?
I'm going to spend a willpower.
Difficulty 8 for you, Phaedra. Difficulty 6 for the hypertech from Tycho.
And I'll be spending a willpower.
Same.
Shit.
Well, I got 4 successes.
So Tycho kind of comes in to try and explain what the fuck is going on here, what he's built and how she just like looks at him and goes, like, presses a few buttons on the thing, like it does like some kind of like mathematical like equation for like all of her like how she understands the universe is connected, and she's like, got it. I have no idea what you just said, but it'll work.
That sounds about right.
That is awesome. she just rocks it out. You did not botch. You just failed on your roll because you did have a success. You had a 7. If you had
I also spent a willpower.
No, if you had the way that I kind of do it is if you spend a willpower, you have to roll at least 1 success. I will allow the willpower to negate one of those botches. But then you would, if you have multiple botches, that's where multiple botches can also be kind of a little bit worse. But I also I like it that multiple botches will negate a willpower. It's a little house rule that I do on that as well. So, but yeah, in this case, that is not a problem though, because you still rolled a success. But yeah, so Phaedra, go ahead and make an Arete roll. I forgot that there is still actually that, so I can't guarantee that you actually figured out what the hell is going on here, but you definitely understand how to help him.
So with
so it'll be difficulty of 3 because that's the lowest it can go.
Okay.
Oh no. We lost Moto. But you definitely did what I, or however you want to play it out, but you're able to easily kind of add in the components of making it a long-range scanner.
Nice.
So I think with Tycho having some technical issues right now, is he back? I was gonna say we'll take a small break here. Oh, hey, you back?
Yeah, my Discord just like crashed or something.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. Discord is not super stable all the time, especially when your internet goes out. Then of course it crashes. I've had a lot of weird internet kind of activity lately. It's been very, very disappointing. Sucks to get booted from an online game for a few seconds sometimes. But we are coming up on the hour here, so I think what we're going to do is take a little break here and kind of break it up. Take a little 10-minute. So we'll be back at 9:05. Before we jump off, any questions that you want to get out in game?
Yeah, I just I didn't catch what the outcome of that thing was. So
Yes.
So I've got the correspondence 3 effect for the scanner.
Yes. Yep. You have a long range scan now. You were using the ship before because that had the ability to scan like that, and you kind of integrated into it before. But yeah, Phaedra kind of finishes out the procedure so that you're able to do a long range scan.
All right, sounds good.
Welcome back to Technogate 1999. We find our heroes on their way to the Dreaming. They will be taking the Technogate to a location just basically the airfield of the National Guard for Madison, Wisconsin. There's a little airport that we have here. So you guys will be in one of the hangars that they have established a little research lab out of that is inspecting the, and trying to understand the dreaming. There's a few scientists that are currently stationed there. And they've set up a little base there. So you guys have, at this point, the device that allows you to find the node that you are looking for, and then you also have the devices as well as the drugs that will allow you to go unnoticed and seem as bygones to any that can pierce the first level of obfuscation. Is there anything that anybody else wants to do before we head to the research laboratory? All right, so you guys arrive at the giant Technogate, and so you see before you a giant black hole encapsulated in a steel cage, basically. The heroes step into the portal and are sucked into the other realm, the near dreaming. So before you, you see a research facility that you guys kind of pop out into. There's like a smaller little Technogate portal that you guys kind of pop out of. The room is all white. There are 3 scientists that are in white lab coats that are kind of like playing around with some chemicals and stuff, and you can see in cages there's a bunch of different chimerical kind of creatures out of the dreaming. So you're seeing stuff like there's a chimera, so like a head of a lion, a dragon, and a goat, and the body of like a tiger. And the you also see like a giant like deformed bird that's has black feathers and multiple mouths, multiple beaks that are shooting off into different directions off of its mouth, and like 400 different eyes that are like looking in all different directions. Just some really freaky shit. Phaedra, actually, you dreamed up the one with the multiple mouths or multiple beaks. It's probably all due to Tycho's influence, though. It's like, you recognize that fucker.
All right. Would these creatures be a good test for our obfuscation devices?
Yes, actually, we could definitely set up a little test facility. Like, one of the scientists comes over and is like, "Yeah, we could assist with that. We have a room that we could put one of these creatures into and see if they recognize you, or now the bird, I would say, would not be, and the chimera, but we do have a platypus that we found. It's just a platypus. It's interesting. We've been studying that. Maybe platypuses are from the dreaming. I don't know.
I would believe that.
That makes almost 110% sense.
Before today, I had never heard of the dreaming, and I believe that.
All right, so you guys are set up with a little bit of a room, and test out the pheromones and stuff. Yeah, and the creature doesn't seem to notice you at all. He definitely reacts to when the scientist gets near him and stuff like that, just like an animal would. But seems to completely be oblivious of any actions that you take until you become aggressive. Which I don't know if you're even going to try to be aggressive, but that would be what would break the spell.
I have no intention of getting aggressive.
You want to fight a platypus?
No. They got toxic. They're like a toxic mammal. Figure that shit out. I don't want to fight that.
Don't they lay eggs?
They lay eggs. They're toxic. They're a mammal. They're a beaver duck. I believe they're from Earth as much as I believe cuttlefish are.
Well, now you
All right,
know
this
where they come from.
This platypus is freaking me out. Let's go outside and test out the scanner.
All right, give me an Arete roll, difficulty of 3.
What does the outside look like?
As you guys step outside, what you see before you is everything is, you see stretched out before you a bunch of black soot and dirt, basically, it looks like, that stretches out for a really long while until it gets, because you guys are basically in the middle of the airfield, in like kind of like where all the warehouses are, and hangar bays and stuff. So when you kind of look out, you see what would normally be the runway. You also see giant metal birds that are flying in and out, seem to be, mimicking what you would imagine to be the airplanes that are coming in and out of the airport. And they're doing like the same thing. They kind of land and kind of walk around. But they're giant, like they look like eagles, but there's all different types of them. Eagles, hawks, there's pigeons for the smaller ones. And
I take it back. I'm starting to like this place.
but you definitely do get a feeling of like banality around you. Just a resonance of it, and there seems to be it's something that you can feel kind of almost. I guess some of you might. I guess I'll leave it up to you, but some of you might feel more comfortable with the banality aspect, and some of you might be off-put by it. But keep that in mind for how you kind of feel about that, whether or not your character is more attuned to the concepts of. Things seem more solid here. The buildings aren't warping as much, if really at all. The metal birds, they do have a feeling of, you can definitely see the eagles and hawks and things inside of them, but you can also see that they look very much like an airplane.
All right, we gonna fire this thing up?
Yeah, I got one success on a rat.
All right. So you light that thing up, and you get multiple signals that kind of come back to you. There seems to be different points that are going deeper the into the dreaming. So from what your kind of first analysis would kind of shoot back to you, is that it's not located inside of the near dreaming. It is definitely deeper inside of the dreaming.
Yeah, so it looks like there's pockets that I'm picking up on that are kind of like, I suppose we would call them portals to the deeper aspect.
So we gotta go deeper, is what you're saying?
Yeah, we might want to just walk around in this area a little bit before we figure out what we
Oh yeah,
to get
I'm
into those deeper
in for
areas.
getting my bearings a little bit.
So I pack up the larger version of the antenna. Should we just go towards, can we see the capital from here? What does it look like?
You can see the capital from here. So as you look like into the city, things get much more bright. There's like rainbow colors. What is it? Daytime or nighttime that you guys are doing this? I'll let you guys decide that.
I would think daytime.
Yeah.
So say like probably noon.
Yeah.
Okay. So noon, you see like the sun is out. There's kind of bright clouds that are around Madison. There are darker clouds that are around where you guys currently are, and you can see like there's forest around you as well, but all the trees are dead. But they also are more stable. They're not kind of like having the weird distortional swaying that when you look into Madison, like the greenness of Madison just explodes with this brightness of colors and magic and rainbows, but there's a large amount of distortion, and you can definitely see that there's just the world there, as you get deeper into Madison, becomes much more dreamlike.
Okay. So Tycho suggests, well, why don't we just walk in the direction of one of these signals? See what the portal looks
Yeah,
like.
how far away
along
is the
the
nearest
way.
one?
Let's see. The nearest one. So the nearest one to the airport, I would say, seems to be down by Commercial Street and, actually, I'll just say the closest one to you would be at this point in time would be the Inferno, which is down by Commercial and
Aberg?
or Sherman. Right?
Yeah, that makes sense. It's around there.
Or Fordham. That's one of the two, Sherman, Fordham. Yeah, they say Sherman. So yeah, it's Sherman
Not too
and
far.
Commercial. Yeah, so just down the way from where you guys are. The next one, other than that, The capital, of course, has a point, it seems. There's a couple places in downtown Madison. You'll have to get closer to really get any more pinpointed, but seems to be downtown Madison and a few others around here.
What are you guys thinking? Head to the nearest one, or
I guess there would also be the park, like the Cherokee Marsh Conservation Park north. Point in there.
Well, let's go to the one that's by the Inferno, because I want to see what the dreaming looks like where we nearly murdered that guy.
Well, I was just gonna say the Inferno. Last I heard, isn't a place we really wanted to play with in the real world. Do we want to go there here?
Yeah, I want to see what it looks like.
All right, that's fair.
And I pull out another thing, and I'm like, this is a basic device that it shunts us back into the real world. It only works when we're in but it's just a pretty simple system. So if we get in trouble, we can just shunt back into.
No. I like insurance policies. So how are we getting there?
We walk.
Oh man.
Well, it's like a 20-minute walk.
All right.
All right, so you guys head off, heading, unless there's anything that anybody else wants to do before heading on out. What are you all currently, besides, like, so all of you kind of look like bygone, or what was it?
Boggins?
Boggins. So you're basically like in cloaks, probably, that's covering up most of your features, and your shorter, more gnomish kind of looking. What is so like Malachi, are you though actually in your spacesuit?
Yep.
Yeah, we just kind of like if they remember us, we just leave that impression of like,
Yep.
dirty Boggins.
So we've got Malachi in his spacesuit, Robert with his sword and briefcase, and suit and tie, Phaedra in her normal getup, and Tycho in his normal getup as well. Nothing special or anything. So,
Tycho, did you gave me your sword, right? The one that I asked for?
Yeah, sure. Yes.
Sweet. Add that to my gear.
I really need to work on my melee.
Same.
all right, so you guys arrive so you guys start walking down towards the capital, but towards the Inferno Nightclub. So as you guys are heading down towards the Inferno, things are, you go from kind of this dark and dreary kind of atmosphere, and more, where things do feel more solid, though, to, things become much more bright. The grass is extremely green and actually multicolored. There's more flowers. Houses, have lots of plant life that kind of is growing on and around, and flowers blooming from all of the different and it is March right now. We're going to say it is a nice day. It's like 65 degrees out. In here it feels like it actually feels what you consider to be a good spring day. So if your perfect spring day is right around 70, that would be what it would be at. If a lot of other people like the 60s, maybe up to about 55 to 70 degree range, but you all kind of feel it a little bit differently, but it feels really nice. You got a really nice breeze that's hitting you, that's just keeping you cool, and but not like freezing you down. You have a bright rainbow in front of you, and there seems to be a bunch of butterflies that are kind of following you around. How are you guys kind of feeling at this point? So I'll start with Tycho.
I think I feel like I'm tripping.
And is that scaring you
wait,
or
did you-
exciting you? Are you, what kind of emotional reaction are you having?
I feel like I'm trying to enjoy it, but in the back of my head, I'm thinking to myself, no, I'm on a mission. But I really feel like giggling right now.
All right, Phaedra?
I'm also feeling like I'm on an acid trip, but in a good way. Everything just is exploding and imploding, and the possibilities feel like they're endless, and it's so many things I can experiment with.
Oh, awesome. All right, Robert?
I'm getting lost in how like strange and unique it all is, but how familiar it all feels to a lot of the experiences that I've had in like my meditation and tripping.
Yeah, I would say that this realm, you feel your character would have definitely a strong familiarity with this
Yeah.
realm. Do any of your characters do what the hell is that called? Where lucid dreaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So lucid dreamers
No.
will feel more comfortable for sure in this area. All right, Malachi?
I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop.
So
Maybe it's the training, maybe it's the military, but it's all peace and sunshine until it's not. And so I'm waiting for that other shoe. Head on a swivel.
So one of the things that you kind of notice about Malachi is that Malachi seems to be a little bit more black and white almost in this area. And when you
Turn
seeing
your
him,
color saturation down.
and he kind of had like exudes like an aura around him that you can see that the plants, while he's near them, kind of go into more of a black and white kind of setting. They become much more stabilized. They go out of that like weird cartoonish looking, like bending and melding and I would say actually more kind of like it's dreamishly like cartoonish, is kind of what you guys are normally seeing in so it's more kind of Alice in Wonderland kind of twisting and turning, if you know what I mean. So very much like an acid trip, for those that are familiar. But
Can
around
we do shrooms instead? Can we
Yeah.
say shrooms?
that's that too. Or that, yes. In any case, don't do drugs. Bad for you.
Except for shrooms.
But around Malachi, things are more black and whitish. It becomes more stabilized. It shoots out of the spectrum of being more cartoonish, and kind of, has this kind of beauty around it too. Especially in his suit, just kind of goes to much more of like a harsher kind of black and white TV kind of feel to it, where there's still some, distortion, but it's more of like fuzziness rather than, and almost has that kind of nightmarish kind of feel behind it to a certain degree as well.
How you doing over there, Malachi?
Well, I'm in a strange land with unknown quantities of, what do you call them when you don't know if they're hostile or not? It's hard to Just keep my eyes up.
Well, I've been to places like this before. If there's one thing I've learned, you just gotta go with it, man. So
Well, we're
we're all watching out.
we'll be going deeper. We're gonna be heading deeper beyond. Oh, I'm getting nervous about what it's gonna look like when things aren't so recognizable, although still pretty. But who knows where this cube is held? They couldn't just keep it like at the Capitol or something. That would have been too useful. But
I just want to make sure got the right idea going in. Looks like this place is pretty tuned into how we're feeling, so just try to keep an eye on that.
that also bothers me.
Best psychiatrist.
The flowers around him start getting darker.
You flowers, stop that! Go back to where you were before.
I'm just thinking in the back of my head, like, oh man, he's gonna have a bad trip. And I look down at my device and I'm like, no, I can shunt us back to reality anytime. Fine. Can I scan him with dimensional science? See what the interactions with the realm are like.
Yeah, give me an Arte roll, difficulty of 3. So yeah, you get a good scan off on him, and you can definitely see that you guys I want to say Phaedra and Robert are really giving off, like, they're being in tuned. They don't seem to have a lot of banality in them. But Tycho and Malachi, so your character and Malachi, of course, are a little bit more, like, you have not very much, but you have like a little bit of banality. But also you have a lot of shit because of the dealing with with werewolves and stuff like that. I would say actually you might have just about as much non-banality as everybody else. Oh, hey, Dame. How's it going, Dame Nation? Thank you for showing up.
Yeah, I'm whimsical as fuck.
Yeah, so I would say that actually you kind of match in pretty well with the dream realm, and you're resonating really well with it. But there's like an allergic motherfucking reaction that's happening to Malachi, and you're not sure if it's going to, that your devices are going to hide that. It definitely is going to, people are going to ignore him, but will they see the distortion effect that's happening around him? So that's something that will have to be tested.
Really quickly, Malachi, can me and you try to do some breathing exercises? Well, I tell you a little bit about how relaxing it could be to just take this place in.
Okay.
All right. Why don't you sit down here with me for a second?
As he's doing that, I'm gonna probably throw some happy pills together just in case.
Something to help him into the.
I'm also going to. Oh man, this might backfire so bad. I'm gonna subtly try to activate like a little bit of like a subliminal messaging type program on my briefcase to try and encourage Malachi through this a little bit, to maybe, like, I don't know how the mechanics would work, but lower his banality a little, or give him a little more willpower against it, or whatever would happen.
Since it's I would say a mind of 3, do you have any dimensional science?
Which one's that?
Spirit.
Spirit? I don't.
I don't think that you'll necessarily need spirit for this, because I think the way that you're kind of doing it, we could do it all through mind magic level 3. So give me an Arete roll, difficulty of 6.
Can I bring
Lower
that
difficult.
down with meditation and wits?
Yes, absolutely.
Four successes, so
Yep, difficulty 3 on the Arete roll.
difficulty of 3. 4 successes.
So, if you like Malachi, he can kind of put you into more of a state where you're kind of taking it more of like like it's a trip, so you're gonna have to like kind of go with it, and kind of feel more in tune with the dream nature of the world that's around you. If you're willing to accept this, there will be no defensive roll that I'll have for it, but you can
Well,
fight
on
it
your
as well
terms.
with a willpower roll if you wish.
I mean, we're on a mission. I'm not necessarily. I have a job here, and what is the? We never really kind of went over it. What's the creature looks like? What's like? Am I seeing things walking around, or is it just us walking?
You would see, what would look like, your normal kind of dogs and cats, and people are kind of walking around. But everything seems kind of out of shift and out of phase. People, you can't really interact with them. They seem to be more of just a fuzzy image kind of going around and doing stuff. But some things like dogs and cats seem to have like more bright and alive, and some of them even seem to notice, well, not you guys, I guess, but other creatures, that other things are like, there's all these one of the things that you kind of, for example, is you see a cat and it's chasing around. It's out in the front yard of owner's house, down here on, as you guys are walking down Sherman. The house is covered in a bunch of vines with beautiful flowers that are blooming from the vines, and kind of encapsulating the house, in just a beautiful artwork kind of design. The cat is kind of like jumping around and chasing down this, what looks to be like a little ball of, like a little fur ball that's about maybe 2 inches tall, or 2 inches in circumference, kind of, that just bounces around and can kind of like stick up onto like the walls and stuff like that, onto the out exterior of the house, and kind of like bops around. You see it like jump through a window, but doesn't break the window at all, and goes inside. And you see the cat kind of jump up and look into the window, and then go around, jump into the through the cat door, and then start chasing her around the house.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'd rather keep my faculties about. That was going to be the second question. So nothing has taken notice of us walking around? We're
Nope,
not being
everything
tracked?
seems to be not noticing you. You don't see anything, interact with you at all. Anything that would like be going towards you kind of like goes around you to a certain degree. People seem to do the same. Yeah, I'm gonna say that. Yeah, people, end up going around you, and that would be natural anyways, from your experiences in the Near Umbra.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also very similar to your experiences in the Near Umbra. It's just much more bright and vibrant and colorful and cartoonish almost. Have you seen
Bunch of
Roger
dark
Rad?
shit.
I'm not saying you gotta let go. All I'm saying is you'd be surprised how much you can take in when you stop trying.
Have you seen Roger Rabbit? This is kind of like that world almost. That could be another interpretation. Nemo. What is it? That's it's a ton of. You could also say this is where Never Never Land is. So yeah. But yeah, and to a certain degree, though, there isn't anything that's kind of like freaking you out in the sense that there's no like giant caterpillars like running around doing stuff or giant spiders or anything, but more of the smaller creatures of squirrels and rabbits and cats and dogs, and it also seems like there seems to be more like lost dogs here and cats that they seem to be able to hide within this realm. I'm just making that up, by the way. There's no evidence to that in the world of darkness. But I feel like cats and dogs get to play inside of the dreaming.
This is Wonderland.
Yes, this is Wonderland.
Right?
Yes.
Through the fucking looking.
Through
That's
the fucking
cool.
looking glass. So you guys kind of Malachi becomes more in tune, and he becomes much more kind of like a cartoonish soldier, spaceman rather than the black and
Went
white.
for it? You didn't fight it? Oh, you're a good man.
So as you guys make your way down Sherman, you end up at the Inferno. Outside of the Inferno, and you see the Inferno here has like just bright neon signs and lights, and there seems to be music that's just blasting from it. Outside, you see two elves that are fighting with rapiers that are just seem to be like honor sparring with each other to a certain degree. But you do see, at one point one of them does jab the other one, and some blood does come out. But they don't end up killing each other or anything. There's a big giant troll bouncer that's standing guard outside of the nightclub. And there's seems to be a group of little green goblins that are playing cards outside on the front steps.
Does it look like they've noticed us at all?
They do not seem to have noticed you at all.
I pull out my my localized scanner and turn it on for a few seconds. Can I tell where the signal was coming from?
Give me a Arate roll, difficulty of 3.
Two.
So it seems to be coming from inside of the bar itself. Shoot, I was just thinking about trying to explain something, but now I completely lost what I was going to say. But in any case, yes, so it's coming from inside of the bar, and nobody seems to be kind of taking notice of you at this point in time, but you'll have to get inside of the bar in order to get a better scan.
Is he tracking nodes?
He is tracking what he's kind of estimating would be, he's getting multiple signals of where this device is coming from. But it all seems like it would probably be portals that are taking you deeper into the dreaming.
Mm.
Yeah, it's the way Tycho would explain it is, it's kind of like an off ramp to a highway.
And you're finding
we're finding the entrance to the highway.
Okay.
These realms, they're freaking weird. And it makes sense that it would be in a place of exceptional. It seems like everything here is tied to emotion and creativity. And yeah, as far as I know, this place has a lot of that.
So we got to figure out a way to get in there.
Well, at some point, but this was just a recon mission to make sure our devices worked, to get a lay of the land. The fact
Yeah,
is,
that's fair.
there's a lot of creatures hanging out here. I'm not sure I want to test this one out just. There's another signal coming from a. There's a few.
Oh yeah, do
There's
we
one
want to?
coming from a park to the north. Wasn't there one at the Capitol?
Yep.
Yep, one at the Capitol, one at the a couple downtown as well. If you get downtown, you might be able to, but you're definitely getting a strong signal that's coming from the Capitol.
Well, if we're gonna end this by shunting back into the real world and calling for probably a taxi anyway, I wouldn't mind going downtown.
No, I think it's worth checking out a few of them to get a lay of the land a little bit.
Yeah, so we can just walk right, basically trace Mendota.
Yeah. I also
Until
kind
we
of
get.
just want to hear. I want to hear Josh describe all the shit.
All right, so you guys are just going to walk down in the dreaming. You guys are staying inside of and kind of go over to Lake Mendota.
Well, we're practically there. It's not. I mean, it's just like one or two houses, away. We just got to follow that road and then bring up Johnson.
Yeah, it's really easy to get a good view of the lake. So when you guys look out over Lake Mendota, you guys see before you, there looks to be like there's an underwater city that you can see has like a dome, and there's different things and creatures kind of swirling around in the water, humanoid creatures that are going in and out, riding, different kind of sea creatures. The water is crystal clear, and perfect. And there seems just to be a bustle of activity.
I
Do you guys-
really want to go.
Do you guys know if that's a place that actually exists in the real world? Like, I guess I've never been into the lake anywhere, out. Do you think that's a real place, or do you think that that's just
I don't know what that would represent.
The only thing that I've heard about is the werewolves. They talked about there's like a sea monster down there. I guess what we understand to be their version of the Umbra. But I've never been down there.
Yeah. Maybe if we get bored when we get back,
Mark
we
that
could
one down for later.
retask a satellite or something to get a look. Or we can go boating. I have seen diver flags out in the lake. So there's people doing stuff out there. I just assume they're wreck people, Wants to look at the mud at the bottom. All right, let's. Do we want to go towards James Madison or head up and just kind of like basically cut straight up? What's the kitty corner street? I can't think of the kitty corner street off the Capitol right now. Just head up straight to it.
Yeah, we're just gonna head towards the Capitol.
All right, so you guys are gonna like take Gorham down towards the Capitol.
Yeah, there's that one converted church that's on a
Johnson.
corner there.
Yeah.
Maine or Gilman or whatever.
Trying to think of landmarks that are in the area. Yeah, we'll head up that way.
So yeah, you guys would come up to like James Madison Park, as you guys are kind of walking down the streets, and the cars are kind of going by, but they definitely have like the feeling that there's still cars and stuff like that, but you can see that it's different kind of camels and tigers and All
my God,
different
cat
types of
bus.
cat bus.
And it's safe to say that throughout our trek, everything has looked appropriately off,
Yes.
and there hasn't been anything that stands out as being either more off or not off enough, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there seems like everything seems to be fitting with like this is probably what the world looks like here. Like it doesn't seem like there's anything that's foreign that's here, or anything that's watching you or anything like that, or nefarious activity.
Yeah, I'm starting to like look for other dark spots like I had, because that was a good find that we found that before and fixed it before it ended up getting us in trouble. So I'm going to just, and as we're going, keep an eye out, looking around.
Looking for banality. I guess there might be some. Let me just double check and make sure. So when you guys do go by the railroad tracks, you definitely see like a bunch of banality in that area, where it kind of goes more black and white and kind of fuzzy instead of cartoonish.
Is that kind of covering the currently operating Oscar plant? Oscar Mayer plant?
Yeah, I'm gonna say the Oscar Mayer plant during that time period also seems to have this weird like level of banality all around it. And it's very there's like dark storm clouds that are hanging out above it. Let's see. Most other things look pretty good though. But yeah, if you get within like 10 yards of the we'll say 30 yards of the train tracks, everything seems to be kind of black and white as you get closer to the train tracks. So you guys arrive down by the Capitol. So as you guys like pass by James Madison Park, there's people playing. You can see them in the playing frisbee golf. There's people that's play or not frisbee golf, but playing frisbee, playing different games and stuff like that. Kids that are playing on the playground equipment. And then there's also like just little creatures that are kind of running around. Nothing dangerous or anything like that. That seems to be more kind of just watching and jumping and excited to see the humans doing the things that they're doing.
Have we seen any elves? Or fae, I mean.
Yeah, I would say so. The fae that you saw over, or since you have left the Inferno, I would say James Madison Park probably has like a few fae that are going around that are gaining, because they like draw off of, well, some of them draw off of people doing these kind of activities.
Is it reasonable to think I'm watching people in their dreams, and then also the fae are kind of just like doing their thing around them dreaming? Is that what I'm seeing, or?
No, it's more of like there's a bunch of like kind of cartoonishly like fuzzy almost images of what's happening in real life. Because there's like because you still kind of see what's happening in the real world. But you're not the deeper into the dreaming is where you would get into actual people's dreams.
Okay. That sounds good. Yeah, this is a lot better when you kind of just you don't think everything is a threat that's going to try to kill you. Granted, hopefully we don't die from that change, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Let's take a look at the Capitol.
Yeah, and I think what we'll do is cut it off right at at this point here. But I'll give you what you guys see when you guys arrive at the Capitol. So as you guys kind of walk down and you see before you a giant, the Capitol seems to be rised up even higher. Like it's naturally on like a giant hill, but you see that it's kind of almost like lifted up and has like a mountainous kind of terrain that kind of is lifting it up off of the ground. And you don't see any activity. The town square, or the what is that, the loop basically for the capital, is what's completely raised up, and there doesn't seem to be any way to get to it. It seems to be about 150 feet off of the ground. Now, if you could fly or something like that, that's how you might be able to get to it. But at this point, it definitely does not look like you'll be able to walk there.
Damn.
And I assume that your device is telling us that it's like we could walk around it and it's obviously the capital.
Well, the portal to the next area is in the capital. Or Inferno.
Is the portal up on top, or?
Yes, the portal is up on top, definitely, inside of the capital structure. And the capital still is the capital. It has, and it looks but it's also enlarged. It looks like it's slightly bigger than, maybe even like twice as big as what the capital really is.
And is the wall dirt or stone?
Stone.
Okay.
Is it just like a sheer cliff?
Yep.
Does it look climbable, or does it look like it's a sheer cliff?
Sheer cliff. I mean, there might be some climbing that you might be able to do, but there seems to be it also doesn't. It still has that kind of dreamish kind of aspect to it, so it's kind of shifting to a certain degree. So you kind of guess that if you started trying to climb up it, it would become impossible, and it would just knock you down basically, by the shifting nature of itself.
All right, I'm going to
Is it
focus.
one of those things where, as we got closer to it, it got taller, and if we try to climb it, it gets taller faster than we can climb?
Yeah, almost from that kind of, that feeling that you get in a dreamlike state when you're like running but you can't get anywhere. Imagine that while you're trying to climb, and then if you look down, it's like you're automatically just gonna fall because that's what happens in the dream. So
There's no
It's
way
supposed
to
to
get
get you.
past insurmountable winds.
I'm going to just focus and just crouch down and say, there is no spoon, and then just jump up in the air.
do you have
How high do I
forces?
jump?
What
was it?
What do you have in forces?
Forces 2.
Oh, wow, okay. What do you have in dimensional science?
0.
And what do you have in correspondence?
Also 0. But I got prime. 3 of prime. And then 1 of mind. But yeah. I do have a touch of matter, but not enough to...
Forces of 2 could do it. Give me an Arete roll. Difficulty, just straight up difficulty of 5. You can use quiescence to lower it, but I'm not going to give anything else for lowering the difficulty on this one.
All right, I'll spend 1 dot of quiescence to drop it down to a 4. Just because, I got them, I might as well use them. And we're at 4.
Oh, wow.
3 successes.
I'm gonna say yes. You get a huge jump. But as you as you feel like you might even be able to get up to the top, and land in there, all of a sudden it just seems to continue to grow taller and taller and taller, and all of a sudden you just slam into the side of the wall, and you're trying to like climb up, but the wall is just shifting, and like the ledges like kind of always disappear that you've been able to kind of latch onto as you're like skidding down the thing. Give me a dex plus a strength plus athletics roll, difficulty of 8.
This is what happens when you try to brute force the whimsy.
I was honestly, I was half expecting to just like bunny hop, and you guys like, what the hell are you doing? Like, just jump in space for no reason.
Kind of what I was kind of expecting too, but with 3
Yay.
successes on your art, it's like, well, let's see.
I got somebody that can fix my broken ankles if need be.
I got you, Holmes.
Say strength and athletics.
Yep.
Okay, and that's at an 8. Ooh,
Oh wow. So you're
4.
able to gracefully get your way down. No injuries whatsoever. You've got your spacesuit as well. I don't know if you added all those bonus dice.
Oh, I
as
didn't.
well, too.
There's 2 more die for the suit, but yeah, I will say
You're-
I just like activate some rockets to just kind of keep myself upright as I'm sliding back down the wall towards
Right.
where they were.
Yep. So you're all set then. You get back down. But yeah, that weirdly worked. And I think at this point is where we're going to go ahead and call it here. Thank you all for coming, and thank you all for watching. It has been a blast. I look forward to see what else you guys do in the dream world in the upcoming part 2 next week.
All right, sounds good. Look forward to it.
Good night, peeps.
Good night, everybody.